Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, October 10th, 2024. I'm Giovanni Benacourt, and this is being recorded previous, about half an hour now, to the U.S. Session Open. Kind of late today. Well, investors have plenty to worry about as global events and pressures in the U.S. continue to trouble markets. Stock valuations look stretched after 2 years of impressive gains. The Federal Reserve may not lower interest rates as much as hoped, and the election is exposing social divisions, and escalating conflict in the Middle East threatens to roil oil markets. To top it all, Hurricane Milton is slamming Florida almost 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene hit. And yet, the Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P 500 both climbed to records yesterday. The Nasdaq isn't far from its high. How can that be? The short answer is that there's one thing investors are a lot less worried about than they used to be. At the beginning of the year, a lot of people expected a recession, or at least a noticeable economic slump. It hasn't happened, and the latest evidence from the labor market suggests it won't be soon. It's true that any hopes the Fed will keep cutting rates is massive. Half-point increments were further dashed by the minutes of the last meeting published yesterday. But officials nevertheless see more cuts on the way, probably 1.5 points worth by the end of 2025. On the day new inflation data are published, that's good news. All right, so let's take a look at what we can expect. Therefore, in the markets, let's begin with the Nasdaq. So we see here the Nasdaq yesterday climbing nicely above our levels of resistance. I mean, it kind of kissed our second level of resistance, and that's where it has retreated from there. So again, let's just use 20,800 as our second in this case, and let's use the upper Bollinger Band as our first level of resistance. Okay, we are gonna use the pivot point as our level of support, and just because it's there, I'm gonna use the 2,200 as our first level of support, and then the pivot point at our second. But we can actually use the medium point, so we have actually three in the indices. So let's see if today the Nasdaq will do something similar and catch up with its peers, the S&P and the Dow, or will it just do a correction? The S&P still here, new all-time highs. So therefore, let's just use the upper Bollinger Band. The pivot point is going to be one of our level of supports, and just keep guiding that support for the medium point for the S&P. So I mean, we're in new territory. Dow again also moving higher above our level of resistance yesterday. So let's use that upper Bollinger Band. Pivot point can stay the same, and let's just use that 20-day moving average as a medium and Bollinger Bands are support. So now I have new levels. So the Russell didn't have as much of momentum to the upside as its peers. So right now we have fluctuated below our level of support, so we need to bring that puppy down. Let's bring that puppy down to right around a 2,160 level. We're going to leave the same levels of resistance, the pivot, and the 2,220. Let's see if it'll rebound, or will it fluctuate lower. Then we have crude oil. Crude oil is making a comeback. So crude oil is right there within reach of our first level of resistance. So it hasn't violated it. So we're going to keep that puppy on there. If it does, we'll use the upper Bollinger Band, and obviously this double top where also the 200-day moving average is sitting. That'll be our second level of resistance. So yeah, going long crude oil. I mean, you gotta, Middle East tensions are still there, and they haven't gone away. They're not gonna go away today or tomorrow or next week. So let's use in Nat Gas is fluctuating lower. We have fluctuated below that level of support that we had placed yesterday. So let's use the 50-day moving average as our probable level of support, and then let's just use that wick, the height of the wick yesterday, as our level of resistance. So selling Nat Gas, buying crude oil. Gold is just, you see, okay, so gold came down towards that our first level of support, which is that psychological round number 2600. It seems to be functioning. I mean, let's see if traders will keep gold above 2600. If it does happen to fluctuate below that level, we most likely will see further declines. And then we right here we have a little cluster of supports. So we have just the top, the bottom, the lower Bollinger Band, and right below that the 50-day moving average. So that area is gonna be a nice level of support if we happen to break up, fluctuate below that. But hey, gold could just probably rally today. Then silver seems to be also rallying, bouncing off, almost off the 50-day moving average to the upside. So let's see if it'll continue with the momentum to the upside. Copper, it's just flattish. All right, so bouncing off our level of support and resistance. So let's leave those there and see if it'll do something more today. Come out of that, it has been on a tier to the downside. Then we have here Bitcoin that is fluctuating below our level of support, that 50-day moving average. So we're gonna have to use the lower Bollinger Band to use that as a second, as a first level of support, and the second level of support is still intact. The resistances, so we could just use the 200-day moving average as our first level of resistance, and we could use 65,000 as our second level of resistance. So there you go. Will Bitcoin rebound today? Will it do a movement to the upside? And then we have the currencies. So we have our first level of support, which is 109, psychological round number, and the second one off the 200-day moving average. The first resistance is basically yesterday's open, and the second one is the day before's higher fluctuation. So let's see if we'll hold those levels. Then the pound is it was getting pounded, but now for the last few days it has just been sideways trading within range, just within each other. Today had a little fluctuation to the lower Bollinger Band. We are sitting at that first level of support, so we're gonna have to bring that puppy down. Let's use that lower the lower band and use 129 as a second level of support. So we have the first one will be that, and then the resistances, let's just keep the same level of resistance as we see here. Besides the second one, use the 20-day moving average. So let's see if today the pound will recuperate, and if it'll recuperate, as we see that the dollar index fluctuates lower. Yesterday we had a nice parabolic movement, trade above our level of resistance. So 103 is going to be that level of resistance, and let's keep our support, which is right at the 50-day moving average for the dollar index, and see if it'll fluctuate to the downside. If it does happen to fluctuate to the downside, we'll see a nice pickup in the metals and the currencies. All right, have a great trading day. I'll see you tomorrow.